I've taken a job for that new client, Amble Dexter. I leave for Venice today.
Oh, God. Why am I not surprised? Well, I'll hold down the fort as usual. Good luck.
Thank you. I'd rather use my phone. The bleak economy seems to be all the newspapers can talk about these days. It's a letter from Mr. Barozzi, an antique dealer in Venice. He has a brilliant eye for interesting pieces. He's a little quaint. He insists on sending snail mail. Looks like I've taken care of everything here. I should head to the airport for my trip to Venice. I've always liked the sense of isolation in that painting. I keep some of my favorite objects in my office. That doesn't mean I wouldn't part with them for the right price. Gretchen?
Yes, Malachi?
That's all for now.
Very well.
I started a dossier on Bianca Cardolo based on the information Dexter sent me. I should start there. I should call Detective Brunetta.
Come in, Mr. Rector. Please, sit down.
Thank you, Signor Cardolo. I'm sorry to intrude at a time like this.
I've been asked to speak with you, and that request came directly from the U.S. Embassy.
Impressive.
What interest does the United States have in my wife's murder? Do you think it was a terrorist act? Why would they want to hurt Bianca?
I don't have the answers, Signore. I'm still investigating.
Very well. I've already been over everything with the police a dozen times, but I'll do what I can to help you.
It would help me to know more about you.
Very well.
Was Bianca your first wife?
See, I worked hard all my life, and I'm not ashamed to say I enjoyed my youth. But a man who wishes to accomplish certain things in life needs a wife. Bianca was everything I needed. She had beauty, style, connections. I doubt I will ever find her equal.
Tell me about your work.
I am consigliere of Venice. I used to practice law, but for now my focus is exclusively on politics. Venice is struggling, as is all of Italy. It will take the best of all of us to save her, if we can.
Tell me about Bianca.
What would you like to know?
How did you meet Bianca?
Bianca's family is one of the most influential in all of Italy. I have known her father for many years. I watched Bianca mature. She was the perfect politician's wife. She loved meeting people and doing philanthropic work. I knew she would make the perfect wife for a man of my ambitions. Fortunately, her father agreed, and I was able to convince her to marry me, even though she was quite young at the time.
How old was Bianca when you married her?
She was 18 and I was 43, but she was very mature for her age. She knew the life she wanted, and I could give it to her. She was happy in our marriage, especially once our son came along.
I realize it is difficult to speak ill of the dead, but Bianca must have had some flaws. No one is perfect.
It is a good thing that I, myself, am a man who often has to say things no one wants to hear, because otherwise I would throw you out of the house for that impudence.
As you say, getting to the truth is not always pleasant.
She was a beautiful young woman. She had some insecurities. Never thought she was good enough, perfect enough. Perhaps I should be grateful for that. If she had been more confident, she might never have married me.
I appreciate your honesty, Signore. How old was Bianca when she had your son?
It was a year after our marriage. She was 19. Does that have some relevance?
We'll see. Did your wife play piano?
No, she was quite musical, but she preferred dance. She was in a classical dance company before we were wed. As for the piano, Bianca loved to entertain, and music was always a part of such evenings.
Bianca quit dancing after you were married?
Of course, it was hardly appropriate for the wife of a man in my position.
I must ask you about Bianca's murder.
If you must.
Do you know who killed Bianca?
No, she was a beautiful and gracious young woman. She had no enemies, nor do I.
Tell me about the night it happened.
Bianca wished to attend a concert. She had a number of musician friends from her student days. I declined to go with her. It was nothing important, and I preferred to get some work done. Now I wish I'd never allowed her to go out alone.
You couldn't possibly have known. It's not your fault.
I'm afraid I must get back to work. In times of fiscal crisis, one is not even allowed the solace of grief. You may stay and look around. I have told the staff that you are free to come and go. You'll find Bianca's bedroom through that door there. And before you ask, the house has plenty of rooms. Bianca liked having her own sanctuary. We were happily married.
I would be the last person to judge such an arrangement. Thank you for your time, Signor Cardolo.
Goodbye.
That must be Bianca's son. He's young to lose a mother. It appears to be an old family Bible. Really not my cup of tea. Gloves. This is quite an assortment. Not many women wear gloves these days. I wonder what Bianca saw in them. Interesting. This glove is quite large. It would fit my hand. These overly large gloves are interesting, but I don't need to take them with me. Gloves. This is quite an assortment. Not many women wear gloves these days. I wonder what Bianca saw in them. Interesting. This glove is quite large. It would fit my hand. Signor Cardolo said this was Bianca's room, which means I presume that this was not the matrimonial bed. Her robe and slippers are still laid out, waiting for Bianca to come home. I wonder how long it will be before someone dares put them away. Nothing interesting. Bianca's planner. It's open to the day she was murdered. She'd written in a concert for that evening, but there's nothing else relevant. The notebook looks brand new. A small desk clock, worthless. Nothing interesting. Nothing interesting. Nothing interesting. Nothing interesting. There's a light breeze tonight. Perhaps it's an incoming storm. Nearly everything in this room matches. I prefer a more eclectic approach myself. Dance images and more family photos. Boring. A wedding photo of Bianca and Dante Cardolo. She has a striking figure. What I can see of it around that large bouquet. Someone must have a love of dance, or bare navels. Bianca liked to entertain. I imagine there will be few parties in this room now, at least until Signor Cardolo remarries. I don't play.
Mr. Hector, it's a pleasure to see you. Welcome back to Venice.
Thank you, Signor Barozzi.
Did you come about the figurine? Let me know when you're ready to see it.
Venetian fine china. It's affordable and ever so slightly rare. Good for Barozzi's middle-class clientele. I hate lions. Unfortunately, they're very popular in antiques. Genuine Murano glass. They've been making necklaces like this in Venice for centuries. This one is well kept for its age. Signor Barozzi, might I have a word?
How can I help you, Mr. Hector?
How is the antique business in Venice these days?
How good can it be with this global recession? Italy is drowning in debt, and the protesters keep even the tourists away. In all honesty, I have never seen conditions so desperate.
Fortunately, there's always a market for luxury items. The rich get richer even in a downturn.
How can you say so? The EU is about to collapse. There are terrible days ahead for everyone.
I don't believe it's as bad as all that. The press love to fearmonger.
I am afraid it is that bad. Unless we can find some brilliant leadership to steer the world out of this mess, things look very black.
Well, I hope I am standing here in a year, and you can tell me you were wrong.
So do I.
Did you know Bianca Cardolo?
Why, yes. That is, I knew who she was. She even came into the shop one time. Her murder is incomprehensible.
I'm looking for information about her.
I didn't know her personally, but I'll tell you what I can. What do you want to know?
Tell me about Bianca Cardolo's family.
Well, you know I love Italian history. Her father, Signor Antonio Savoy, is from two of the most noble Italian families, the Savoys and the Capetians. The Savoys, as you know, were the royal family in Italy up until World War II.
Interesting. Tell me about Bianca Cardolo's husband.
Dante Cardolo. You know, he is from the Capetian family, just like Bianca's father. But they are distant cousins. He was very popular in Venice. He could have gone far in politics, but his support of the EU at any cost has the common people very angry. Only time will tell if his political career survives, if indeed Italy survives.
Thank you for the information. Was Bianca Cardolo wealthy?
Oh yes. Both her birth family and her husband's family are extremely wealthy. There's no doubt about that.
I see.
It's none of my business, but why are you interested in Bianca Cardolo?
Her story caught my eye, that's all.
I can't blame you. It is a terrible thing. Oh, Mr. Rector, such a crime does nothing to help the city's morale. We could all use some good news, eh?
If you learn anything new about Bianca Cardolo, please contact me.
Absolutely. I would be happy to.
I'd like to see the figurine you mentioned in your letter.
See. Here it is. Take all the time you need. I hope you'll find it to your liking. I know your taste is excellent.
We'll see. That's all for now. Thank you.
As you wish.
An interesting piece, if genuine. I should analyze it. The figurine is an excellent find, Senor Baruzzi. It's a 12th century Lewis Chessman piece. The British Museum and the Museum of Scotland each have part of the collection, so we might be able to get them to bid against each other. Marvelous. Can I assume our usual split?
Of course. Oh, that is good news. Should I have it sent to your store in Manhattan?
Please do. Oh, and insure the hell out of it.
Of course. Thank you. I'm not ashamed to say I will be glad for the money.
Pronto, Detective Brunetta.
Buongiorno. This is Malachi Rector. I need to speak with you about the death of Bianca Cardolo.
I was told to expect your call. Meet me at 425 alla 2 Colonne. That's the site of the murder.
Thank you. I'll see you there.